identifying marks on them. I saw about 6 or 7 sort of hulky fellows, all concealing their faces with black bandana style covering. I saw them place a smaller, maybe middle-aged woman into the van. As soon as she was placed in the van, they very quickly closed the van. They each ran into individual vehicles, one driver per vehicle, and they sped out of here, about 3 or 4 vehicles going behind Albertsons, 2 or 3 vehicles going this way.
Eric was so concerned by what he had just witnessed, he called the Palm Springs Police Department to report the incident. Because due to the vehicles being unmarked, he had concerns on whether it was a legitimate ICE operation or perhaps a kidnapping. And Police Chief Andy Mills is encouraging residents to do the same should they witness something similar.
Give us a call on 911. We'll try to get an officer there as quickly as possible and sort it out with you to make sure that this is a legitimate operation by an authorized federal agency.
But ICE detainments in Palm Springs weren't just isolated to Loco Charlie's. Just this past Saturday, another ICE detainment was captured on camera right here in the Vons parking lot.
Hey, get back into the boat. I'm the manager here.
Caesar, who is another Palm Springs resident, shot this video when he saw unmarked vehicles pull up and arrest 2 workers as they were filling up their tank. He stated that when he attempted to ask the detainees questions, the masked officials instructed the men in handcuffs to stay silent. Yeah, Mark, and it should also be noted that I had the chance to speak to one local business owner inside this shopping center, and he said when he was notified that ICE was in this parking lot, he actually went inside and spoke to his team and notified his team that ICE was outside. His team then ran out the door, afraid that they would too be detained. Live in Palm Springs, I'm Caitlin Kelly.
Caitlin, thank you for those updates tonight. Now, while there were several social media posts about ICE activity on Monday, it wasn't until Monday night we received confirmation ICE agents were working in Palm Springs. Palm Springs Police Chief Andy Mills posting on Facebook saying the Palm Springs Police Department was not informed that ICE agents were working in the city and that it took several phone calls to learn what exactly was going on. Mills' post said in part, quote, "I am aware that people without uniforms appeared as federal officers and stopped and detained people in Palm Springs." Our Fred Rogan spoke with Chief Mills today about what was happening with ICE agents. Here's a portion of what he had to say.
If it's incorrect that they're American citizens and they think they're being targeted based on race or national origin, then they need to file an appeal with the federal government. And then, if need be, call us, and we will verify that these are actually federal agents. I want to be clear, we are not going to interfere with any federal investigations. There could be a lot more to these detainments than we are aware of. They're not sharing the information with us. It took hours for us to determine if there were federal agents here in our town. So they're not exactly coming and saying, I've got a person that we're going to remove because they're wanted for murder.
Chief Mills had more to say today, including instructions for what people should do if they are confronted by people claiming to be ICE agents. Fred Rogan will have more of the police chief's interview tonight at 6:30. That's on the Rogan Report.
The ICE activity has not been limited to just Palm Springs and Cathedral City. Mayor Nancy Ross says a close friend of hers was detained and deported. She spoke about it at a recent city council meeting.
He was pulled over on Ramon. He was asked to roll down his window. He said he would not. They said, we will break your window, which they had the right to do. And he did step out of the car. He was arrested, he was handcuffed, and he was taken to the airport where there were many other men of color waiting for them there, other people like my friend. They were all put onto an airplane. They were sent to Tabasco, Mexico, which is the farthest south you can go, right up against Guatemala. I also support following laws, but I don't support grab and steal and not knowing where people are. Those are our people, you guys. Those are our people, your people, my people. Where are our people?
The Cathedral City Council has not taken a stance on the recent waves of immigration actions.
More local news tonight. Former Palm Springs Mayor Steve Pugnier is scheduled to be sentenced Wednesday in his bribery case. Now, according to prosecutors, Pugnier took bribes in order to give favorable approval for proposed developments across downtown Palm Springs. He was initially accused alongside developers Richard Meany and John Elroy Westman. Although Meany was the first to plead guilty with the court on misdemeanor counts, the other defendant, Westman, was found not guilty in June.
Some continuing coverage this evening where we have new updates on the Wolf Fire. It's burning south of Banning. Fire was first reported this past Sunday after 3 p.m. in Old Banning, Idlewild Road, and Wolfskill Truck Trail. Let's go to Brett Rosen live in studio tonight with more on what officials are saying. Brett.
Mark, according to CAL FIRE, the Wolf Fire in Banning is at 35% containment. CAL FIRE says there's still nearly 15,000 people under some kind of evacuation order, and as of this hour, threatening 4,200 structures. As the 4th of July weekend is approaching, CAL FIRE says they are working quickly as they can to get people back in their homes.
Especially coming into the 4th of July holiday weekend, we know there's a very big potential for activity throughout the county. So there was a big push today to get out and mop up as much as can be done to improve those containment lines. So we'll see where we're at this evening.
The American Red Cross has an evacuation shelter for the Wolf Fire located at Hema High School. Shelter supervisors say the shelter is not just a safe space for evacuees to sleep, but they're also mindful of those struggling mentally.
They don't know the conditions of their homes, and that's a lot for someone to carry. We have mental health people that talk to them. Usually it's over the phone. If not, they can come to the shelter itself and talk to them.
Now, as for how long the shelter will be open for families who need it, Ken Rager told us that they will continue to be a safe space for those evacuating for as long as the wildfire is underway. For NBC Palm Springs, I'm Brett Rosen.
Thank you, Brett, for the update. Let's take a live look outside our Agua Caliente casino camera there in Rancho Mirage. Looks like the smoke has cleared a little bit from what we saw yesterday as we check in with our Chloe Carlson. Something that may have helped out today, a little cloud cover out there. And I was amazed. I was driving up Monterey. I had a few sprinkles on my windshield today.
Crazy enough. I know we talked about that yesterday, right? We said there is a slight chance, a 10% chance of rain, light rain at that. And look at that. I guess we were right. We got a little bit of moisture here on the desert floor. Not the only ones, about 1/100 of an inch up in Big Bear, San Diego, Thousand Oaks saw a little bit of moisture. Not enough when we were talking about those fires, but worth mentioning. We're getting a little bit of moisture moving into Southern California, and that is not the last of it. So we're tracking that low pressure system moving into Southern California. So we do expect more of those high clouds, and we'll say maybe a slight chance again, but chances went through today. Air quality alert. This is going to end this evening, but wanted to show you that again, the location of those fires. As far as winds go, that's also an issue when we talk about those fires. In Banning right now, 16 miles per hour from the west, 92 degrees for that area. That is where the Wolf Fire is located, just south of Banning there. That extreme heat warning also ending this evening for portions of Southern California. So good news there. We are seeing some cooler conditions as we get into this week. Not right now, though. 114 still in downtown Palm Springs. A little bit warmer today than what we saw yesterday. Those gusty winds continue for us as we get into Wednesday. Like I said, more breezy conditions in the evening, and then we are tracking the low pressure system moving through. Here's a look at your comfort 3-day forecast. So we'll stay above average for our Wednesday, dipping below seasonal Thursday and Friday. We'll break down where you can expect in that full forecast coming up.
All right, Chloe, thanks for that. We have some news across the country this evening. Today, President Donald Trump got a tour of Florida's so-called Alligator Alcatraz in Oshipee, that's west of Miami. The president was joined by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, as well as Homeland Secretary Kristi Noem for the visit. The site in the middle of the Everglades is the new detention, processing, and deportation camp for undocumented migrants. Previously, the remote airfield site was mainly used for training flights. Governor DeSantis said came together quickly, little more than 1 week. The temporary tent city will soon house up to 5,000 migrants.
Today, the Senate passing President Donald Trump's sweeping domestic policy legislation. Senators voting 54 and 50 against. Vice President J.D. Vance then breaking the tie. The bill's passage comes after a marathon session in the Senate lasted more than 24 hours. Now the bill is in the hands of the House, which will need to pass the Senate version quickly to meet President Trump's July 4th deadline. House approval, however, is not guaranteed. Republicans have a 3-vote majority in the chamber. Coming up next tonight here on NBC Palm Springs, more local news. Indio Police Department cracking down on illegal fireworks this year, where officials are directing residents to call. That's after the break.
Also, construction underway in Rancho Mirage. How the city is making your roads safer. That's ahead.
The question occurs on passage.
We have a reminder tonight, the Walter Clark Legal Group bringing back its Safe Ride Home program. It's this Independence Day to help keep our communities safe. So 10 p.m. July 4th to 3 a.m. July 5th, residents in the Coachella Valley and nearby areas can get up to $50 reimbursed for rides home via Uber, Lyft, or taxis. Goal is simple. It's to prevent impaired driving on one of the most dangerous nights of the year. If you'd like to participate, all you have to do is register at walterclark.com/holiday. Follow the easy instructions there to get your reimbursement.
And the Indio Police Department wants to remind residents, if you're hearing or seeing illegal fireworks in Indio, to not call 911. Instead, report it by calling the fireworks hotline, and the number we have available for you on our website and on your screen there. Officials say 911 is strictly for emergencies like fires, medical calls, or crimes in progress. The city of Indio has a zero-tolerance policy on illegal fireworks. Violators can be fined up to $5,000. Again, the number at the bottom of your screen is what you want to call this week if you hear or see illegal fireworks.
We have a heads up for drivers to know before you go. All right, if you've driven down Highway 111 recently, you've definitely noticed the road construction.
In Rancho Mirage, city engineers are working on a road improvement project aimed at making streets a little safer for drivers. Kai Beach has the details.
People traveling through the city and live here in Rancho Mirage will experience smoother drive, a much cleaner look to the road. I'm Charlie with City of Rancho Mirage. I'm the project manager for the city. We're back out here on 111 doing some full depth asphalt repairs. We had just finished crack fill throughout the length of 111, but there were areas that were determined by our city engineers that the crack fill process would not benefit as the asphalt has too far degraded and needed to be full depth repair. Once that is complete, we'll come back in September and we'll do a slurry coat over the entire road of Highway 111. And what that does, it adds to the durability and the length of stability of the road, which adds to the safety and comfort of the driving experience down Highway 111 through Rancho Mirage. Doing these sections and then backing it up with crack fill and sealing, it adds to the length of the durability of the road, so we don't have to do this often. This should be completed by the end of this week, and in mid-September, we'll come back in. There'll be a little more traffic impact that will also go very quickly, though, and slurry coating the entire road. This project is really going to help. It's going to really improve your driving experience. We have a beautiful city, wonderful landscape, and it's just an incredible driving experience here in Rancho Mirage.
Sights and sounds from our Kai Beach tonight. We thank Kai for that. Giving you a live look right now from our Indian Wells Golf Resort camera. Chloe Carlson standing by with details on our midweek forecast. That's when we come right back.
All eyes are on Friday for the 4th of July. Agua Caliente Casino and Spa in Rancho Mirage is hosting its 11th annual 4th of July celebration. The fireworks spectacular gets started at 9 o'clock. Gates open at 3. There are 700 parking spaces available for cars, so get there early if you want the best views, but plenty of space. And then if you can't make it in person, we will be broadcasting the fireworks live on our sister station, KPSC. That's cable channel 20. It starts at 9 o'clock. We'll be out there covering all of the festivities live, and then you can watch the fireworks again at 11 o'clock back here on NBC Palm Springs to catch all the action. So as we take a live look outside from our Walter Clark Highway 111 camera, the question for Chloe Carlson tonight, will these clouds be gone? Because we want a clear view of all the fun.
Exactly. Yeah, those are going to be out of the region, thank goodness. And we're also talking about breezy winds, which I know sometimes when we get to July 4th, that can be a little bit of concern because those fireworks are near kind of those wind prone areas. We're checking breezy, which is great. 94 degrees for those fireworks. Agua Caliente Casino will kick their show off at 9 p.m. 94 degrees. So yeah, you do not need that jacket this year. And have you ever in the desert? Probably not. As far as the forecast for the rest of the day, 106 at 6 o'clock for Independence Day. Like I said, we'll be in the high 90s, mid 90s around the 9-10 o'clock hour. If you are keeping the celebrations going through early into the next morning, we're going to be saying the 80s through 2 a.m. for some of you, not for me. 114 for the high today, so we were well above average. Another hot day today, actually a little bit warmer than yesterday. We're not the only ones seeing those hot conditions. Take a look across the country today. 112 for the high in Phoenix, 103 in Boise, and let's just not stop there. We're not the only ones seeing the hot temperatures here in the U.S. England also seeing some hot conditions. If you are a tennis fan, you know Wimbledon day one had record-breaking temperatures, 91 degrees, but that did not stop Carlos Alcaraz from still defeating his opponent there. They're going to see cooler conditions for us. 113 still in Palm Springs at this hour. 80s overnight tonight. Again, Thursday, the low pressure system will be moving to the east of us. We'll stay cooler here on the desert floor. Here's a look at your Comfort Air 7-day forecast. So above average tomorrow will be seasonal through the rest of the work week. Another warm up taking us to 111 by Sunday.
The NBC Palm Springs Sports Desk with Tim O'Brien. Brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
Well, the dog days this summer are officially in August, but for sports media locally, we're right in the middle of it. It's free agency, though, today in the National Hockey League. The Kraken signing defenseman Ryan Lindgren on a 4-year deal and Stanley Cup winning goalie, that man right there, Matt Murray, for next season. You're going to ask, why is that relevant? Well, Firebirds faithful, you've got Philip Grubauer still under contract, and you know Joey Daccord is the starter in Seattle. So if Murray, who spent last season in the American Hockey League, finds his way to the Valley, that'll be arguably the best 1-2 punch here in the league with Matt Murray and Nikke Kokko. Murray winning a Stanley Cup a few years ago with Pittsburgh, posted a 1.72 goals against last year in Toronto. Now, the potential future of the Firebirds hitting the ice today in Seattle for Kraken rookie development camp. They were treated with a skate with that man there. That's team president Ron Francis, who took the time to extend his knowledge. Pretty cool if you're just 17 or 18, 19 years old, skating with a Hall of Famer and a Stanley Cup champ. Recently drafted Jake O'Brien, already on the ice wowing coaches and scouts. 6'2" forward drafted 8th overall. He'll spend time in the Ontario Hockey League before potentially making his way here to the Valley in the next couple of years. O'Brien had 16 goals, 17 assists last season in 34 games. We also saw coach Derek Laxdal appearance in Seattle today, rocking a sweet tan. Now, the Palm Springs Power will host a giant fireworks show following the game on Friday for the 4th of July. The biggest crowd of the year each season for the Power, and the night will end with a bang. First pitch at 6 against the PCSL All-Stars. Don't forget, the following Friday, July 11th, will be NBC Palm Springs night at Palm Springs Power Stadium. Olivia Sandusky has been stretching and throwing for the last couple weeks. She'll toss out the first pitch from what I hear. She's shaking her head, but she will. That'll do it in sports. I'm Tim O'Brien.
All right, finally tonight, 2 Wisconsin men on a bucket list adventure that's been decades in the making. We've got Troy Knutson and Aaron Jacobus. They're paddling the full length of the Mississippi River. Their journey started about a month ago at the river's headwaters in northern Minnesota, and now they're headed for the Gulf of Mexico. They've braved heavy winds, rough waters, even a few storms as well, but they say the people they've met along the way have made this trip worth it. You can follow their journey by going to the Mississippi River Paddlers Facebook group.
That's fun. Chloe, why don't we ever do something like that?
Yeah, because it would take us years to finish the Mississippi.
Go around the Salton Sea in a canoe?
Just going to drive over, yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for